What's up, YouTubers? It's Harpie-Hunter89, and the voices in my head coming at you from the Duelist Den. Now, first things first, we would just like to express that we hope y'all like the new intro. I had to change it because I was getting copyright claims from YouTube about my previous intro because of the music I had on it. But you know what? Whatever. I like the new intro a lot better, to be honest with you. It's a lot more creepy. But anyway, last week I debuted my Harpie Magic Spectre deck profile, and I got some great responses to it. One response I did see that stuck out to me was somebody asking me to do a Harpie-Windwitch build. Now, when Windwitches were first released, I did kind of consider doing it, but I didn't like the fact that it limited you to wind monsters only on special summons. But the request was made, and I'm here to please my subscribers. So, without any further ado, this is my Harpie-Windwitch build. I hope you guys enjoy the deck. It has gone through rigorous testing this past week. I have a lot of fun playing it. But here it is. First up, we have Harpie Queen. Harpie Queen is the field searcher for the deck. It lets you discard itself from your hand to the graveyard to add Harpie's Hunting Ground from your deck to your hand. Now, with back row being a big thing right now in a lot of decks, being able to destroy that back row is really essential. So getting your Hunting Ground to your hand as quickly as possible is a big deal for this deck. Next up, we have Harpie Harpist. Harpie Harpist, when it's summoned, lets you return a Winged Beast type monster you control from your field to your hand, and it lets you also target a monster your opponent controls and return that to the hand as well. In addition to that, during the end phase of the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you would add a Wind attribute Winged Beast type monster of 1500 or less attack from your deck to your hand, so that you search out any of your Harpie monsters minus Harpie Queen. So that is a pretty good effect for the deck. Moving on along, we have Harpie Channeler. Harpie Channeler lets you discard a Harpie card to special summon one Harpie monster from your deck to the field in defense position, and if you control a Dragon type monster, this card's level becomes 7. Now that level increase is a little bit tricky to play around in this deck, but it is doable if you play the deck very smart. Moving right along here, we next have Harpie Lady 1. Now, with previous builds, the extra deck didn't consist of a whole lot of wind monsters, but with this build it does. So Harpie Lady 1 benefits the deck even more so than previous builds. Now, like all the Harpie Lady or Harpie cards in this deck, they're treated as Harpie Lady on the field or in the graveyard. But Harpie Lady 1 is also treated as Harpie Lady in the deck, so it is searchable with Elegant Egotist. The next Harpie and the last Harpie in the main board of the deck is Harpie Dancer. Harpie Dancer lets you target one monster or one wind monster you control and and return it to the hand in order to normal summon a wind monster from your hand. So it not only gets you an additional normal summon off, but it also gets around the special summon abilities of Ice Bell and Snow Bell as well if you need to get around those. Now for the Windwitch engine. First up, we have Glass Bell. It's a level 4 tuner. And when it's summoned, when it's normal or special summon, you can add a Windwitch monster from your deck to your hand except Glass Bell. But you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except wind monsters, and you can only use the effect of Glass Bell once per turn. Now this is where I come into the problems with this deck, the whole only summon and wind monsters thing. But you know, like I said earlier, with this build it actually works pretty well. The next Windwitch is Ice Bell. It's a level 3, it only has 1000 attack and defense, and its effect is that if you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. Then you can special summon a Windwitch monster from your deck, but it can't be tributed. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck the turn you activate this effect, except level 5 or higher wind monsters, and this card is normal special summoned. You inflict 500 damage to your opponent, and you can only use the effect of Ice Bell once per turn. So Ice Bell gets you off a little teeny tiny bit of burn damage. In addition to that, it also gives you a search and special summon from your deck. The last of the Windwitch monsters is, of course, Snow Bell. It's a level 1 tuner, and its effect states if you control 2 or more wind monsters and no non-wind monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand, and a wind synchro that was summoned using this card as material can't be destroyed by opponent's card effects. So cards like Dark Hole and Regeki are useless against the synchro monster that summons out. Now there is a combo you use with this. First of all, you special summon Ice Bell, use Ice Bell to summon Glass Bell, Glass Bell searches out Snow Bell, then you use Snow Bell to special summon itself. Then you use Ice Bell and Glass Bell to bring out Winter Bell, and then you use Winter Bell and Winter Bell and Snow Bell to bring out Crystal Wing. So it is a big convoluted process, but it is doable. Now, moving on, for the spell lineup, we run one Elegant Egotist. Elegant Egotist, as long as you control a Harpie Lady, lets you special summon a Harpie Lady from your deck or hand. So, if you have a Harpie monster on the field, you can bring out Harpie Lady 1 from your hand or deck. And after that, we have Polymerization. We run 3 polys, and polys are used to bring out Crystal Bell. So, you kind of need the polys in the deck. Moving along, we have Soul Charge. Soul Charge lets you target any number of monsters in your graveyard, special summon them at the cost of 1,000 life points per monster, but you can't attack to use the effect the turn you use this effect, but it does set your field up. The next spell card is Hysteric Sign. When you activate Hysteric Sign, you can add Elegant Egotist from your deck or graveyard to your hand, and during the end phase of the turn, this card was sent from your hand or field to the graveyard. You can search 3 Harpies and add them from your deck to your hand. The downside is you can't use both of the effects in the same turn. The final spell is Harpie's Hunting Ground, which increases the attack of all winged beasts by 200 points. And whenever a Harpie Lady or Harpie Lady Sisters is summoned to the field, the person who summoned the Harpie Lady or Harpie Lady Sisters can destroy a spell or trap card on the field. Now, if neither player has any other spell or traps on the field, it is a detriment because you wind up having to destroy itself because it's a mandatory effect. But, those are the prices you pay. You just have to be smart about using it. For the trap lineup, we run 3 Call the Haunteds. You activate this card by targeting one monster in your graveyard, special summon it in attack position, and when this card leaves the field, destroy the target. When that target is destroyed, destroy this card. Now, I use this primarily to bring out my Windwitch monsters to go into Synchros again, but if this card is dead on the field and Hunting Ground is on the field and you need a target because your opponent doesn't have any spell or traps, you can destroy this as well. Now, Hysteric Party, I run 2 of those. This lets you discard a card from your hand to special summon any number of Harpie Ladies from your graveyard as possible. Since all your Harpie monsters are Harpie Ladies in the graveyard, you can summon any of them. For the extra deck, first off, we have Crystal Bell, which requires Winter Bell and another Windwitch monster to summon it. The effect is you can target one monster in either graveyard until the end phase this card's name becomes that name, or that target's original name, and replace this effect with that target's original effect. And if this card in your possession is destroyed by your opponent's card by battle or effect and sent to your graveyard, you can target a Winter Bell and a level 4 lower Windwitch in your graveyard, special summon them, but you can only use the effect once per turn. So this not only lets you gain the abilities of any monster in either player's graveyard, but if it is destroyed, then you can recycle your Windwitch monsters from the graveyard. For the Synchros, first off, we run Trishula, Dragon of the Ice Barrier. It requires 1 tuner plus 2 or more non-tuners, and when it's Synchro Summon, you banish 1 card from your opponent's hand, field, and graveyard, and the card in hand is chosen at random. Now, Trishula is not a wind attribute monster, so you do have to be smart about how you get it out onto the field, because if you're using Windwitch's effects that turn, you can't special summon it. But it is possible to get this card out to the field without using the Windwitch's effects. You just have to be smart about how you do it, or how you do it. Next up, we have Mistworm. Mistworm's a level 9 Wind Thunder Synchro. It requires 1 tuner plus 2 or more non-tuners, and if this card is Synchro Summon, target up to 3 cards your opponent controls and return those targets to the hand. Now, like Trish, it does not have to be monsters. It's any card your opponent controls, and you can get rid of 3 of them on your opponent's field and bounce them to the hand. And it's got a pretty nice 2,500 stat for attack, which for a level 9 really isn't, is kind of low, but it's still 2,500 attack points, and it's a synchro play, so you can use your Windwitches to go into it. Next up, we have Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. It's a level 8 Dragon Synchro with 3k attack, 2,500 defense. It requires 1 tuner plus 1 or more non-tuner Synchro monsters. So you do need a level 7 Synchro on the field, or a level 5 Synchro on the field in order to get this card on the field. The effect states that once per turn during either player's turn, when another monster's effect is activated, you negate the activation and destroy that monster, and if you do, this card gains attack equal to the destroyed monster's original attack until the end phase of this turn. The second part of the effect is if this card battles a level 5 or higher monster during your opponent controls. During damage calculation, this card gains attack equal to the current attack of the opponent's monster is battling during that damage calculation only. So it has a negation effect, it has an attack boost effect. This card is just all around good. Next up is Stardust Dragon. Now, Stardust Dragon, pretty much just an anti-destruction effect. No need to go too much into it past that. Everybody knows what it does these days. Next up, we have Windwitch Winterbell. It's a level 7 synchro, 2400 attack, 2000 defense. It requires 1 tuner plus 1 or more non-tuner wind monsters, so you can use your Harpies to synchro summon this card to the field. The effect states that you can target a Windwitch monster in your graveyard and inflict damage to your opponent equal to that target's level times 200. So you do get some burn damage off of this card. Furthermore, during either player's battle phase, you can target one Windwitch you control, special summon one monster from your hand with a level less than or equal to that monster, but it cannot attack this turn, and you only use the effect of Winterbell once per turn. Now, what I love about Winterbell is you can target itself for the level requirements, so any monster in your hand you're going to be able to summon with Winterbell's effect. The final synchro is Vortex the Whirlwind. It's a level 5 synchro with 2100 attack, 700 defense. Requires 1 tuner plus 1 or more non-tuner winged beast type monsters. And when this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you special summon 1 level 4 or lower winged beast from your deck. So this card is pretty much in there just, so I have a synchro in play to go into Crystal Wing if I have to with tuner monsters effects. The only downside is I don't have a level 3 tuner in the deck, but there are level conversion effects that people use. It's a real long shot, but the primary reason, however, I have it in the deck is so I can search out a Harpie monster when it's destroyed by battle. Now for the Xyz monsters, first up I run 2 Phantasmal Dragons. During the end phase you detach a material, and as long as it has a material, however, it can attack your opponent directly and stops your opponent from targeting your monsters with attacks or effects. Next up we have Lightning Chidori. This requires 2 level 4 wind monsters, and when it's Xyz summoned, you target 1 set card your opponent controls, return it to the bottom of the deck, and you detach a material from this card to return a face-up card your opponent controls to the top of the deck. So it's a control card, so you can control what your opponent's doing. For the last of the Xyz monsters, we have Degusto Emerald. Emerald is in here for its first effect. The second effect you can't use it because you need to target a non-effect in your graveyard to special summon it. But the first effect, you detach material, target 3 monsters in your graveyard, shuffle all 3 into the deck, then draw 1 card. This is in here pretty much to recycle my Windwitch monsters back into my deck. Now I'm not going to go over the side deck because side decks vary from person to person. This is just the side deck I chose to run. I have a Regeki, 2 Dark Holes, 3 Mind Crushes, 3 Imperial Iron Walls, 3 Mistakes, and 3 Grand Horn of Heavens. How you set up your side deck is really up to you. This is just how I chose to set up my side deck. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, tell your friends and family about the channel, get them subscribed to it. Leave your comments in the box below about what you thought about this deck. And as always, if you have a deck idea you'd like to see me do a profile over, or you'd like to see me construct, 2 archetypes, for example, that you want to try and see me mesh together, I love doing challenges like that. Just leave those ideas in the comment section below. Until next time, this is Harpie-Hunter89 and the voices in my head, signing off.
Take a shot and you run it side by side. It's a blur.